Okay, things dysfunctioning all over the place. This will be the third time I've done this video now. The second time was because so many things have changed, and now a third time because my programs don't work. So, whew, let me try it again here. The last one was 9 minutes. Maybe I can get through this one quicker. I'm just going to touch over all of the Pearson families. This is the spreadsheet that I have been kind of working off of, and all of the Pearson families. I have went over them. This is kind of like what I've been using since the beginning of the year, and I do have them in order of significance. The numbering isn't going to be in exact chronological order just because so many things have changed, and I've just entered numbers to get them in the right order. But starting off, William Scarlett Pearson family, they really weren't worth even having them on the list, but there are some family trees out there that have Jacob's father listed as him, so I figured it was worth a look, but there's no chance in hell that that's the correct family. So moving ahead, so I put Nebraska Pearson family way down here. She's always led me astray. I seem to get more matches on the Jones side than I do the Pearson side, and she continuously pulls up DNA matches to my mom's wooden line. And so I have never been a big advocate of that avenue. And obviously, like next to last, I'm still not. The Jim Allen Pearson family, nothing really to see there. I have done a video on them. There are other families that it could be as well, but I mean, it is interesting, and they're going to stick around because it hasn't been figured out yet. The Adams family, uh, they were a little bit lower earlier today. They're now in fifth, and I was able to merge them with the Thomas Jefferson Pugh Pearson family. This family pulls in the Minton name, Griffith, Booth, and some other ones that have been researched a little bit. And it's they also the pews marry into the Mendenhalls, and so I mean it pulls a lot of areas in there, and they could be in the mix somewhere, and they very well might be. It's just that I don't know if they're the Pearson length that I'm going for anyway, and that's kind of why I put them in fifth. Moving up here, is actually the Pearson to Dixon family. This was actually searching Y-DNA matches for James Topol. I noticed that he had one match on his father's side, the Dixon side, or Dickinson, all kinds of variations of it. But they were actually, I forget if they were either Dixon and then married into the Pearsons or vice versa. But I thought that was a pretty unique avenue. Didn't find a whole lot, but I figured it was worth exploring, and just because of the circumstances, which is possibly circumstantial evidence, I put them at 4.5, which is higher on the list, I guess. John D. Pearson, 1795 family. No new developments there. Little information is known, really, after John D. Pearson in 1795. I mean, they do pull in some common surnames. Pretty well, not really well documented, but I've done a lot of off and on research on them. Now, the Thomas Pearson, McPherson, whatever other variation, Peterson probably. There are quite a few DNA matches, and that's probably most likely why I put them higher. I mean, sometimes I don't really know why I do the things I do, but I didn't move things around too much, but definitely worth looking at again if need be. Uh, I was able to link these two families together, which I originally had as separate. I have them in the top three, you could say, or with a higher rating, only because of location. It's documented. There's a big PDF on the family. They went from Miller County to Nagadachis. Just seems like an awful big coincidence, but it's pretty much led me astray. Very well could be involved somehow, but who knows? As I remember, it was the Montgomery family that was from Nagadachis. So, I mean, it, Not found anything yet. This is my first mention of the Joseph Cleveland Pearson family. I am going to plug him in. Well, I really need to make these numbers in order. This is annoying. I can't even tell who my top three are because of my numbering. So, the Joseph Cleveland Pearson family is actually going to be George Pearson, his grandfather. And there are some Georgia roots, a lot of mystery. It seems like, well, this could be Jacob's line. And if YDNA is right, I should be on the right path. And so I'm actually going on my own family tree. I'm going to plug Joseph Cleveland in as Jacob's father, see what that generates. There's a little bit of controversy on who his father and who his wife are, and then who his father's father. And I mean, there's a lot of documentation that points out to both. Um, Number two is the Head Pearson family. And then a little side branch of that is the Denise Pearson or Captain Simon Pearson family, which I do now believe is a different family. I didn't want to have to choose between all these families, so I just put them all as number two. Very reliable sources has Captain Simon Pearson's father as Edward Pearson, which would mean that he is with the Head Pearson family. Just as reliable sources, I have seen that he is not associated with that family. I am leaning toward that it is a different family entirely, and the Captain Simon Pearson family specifically comes up in some Y-DNA matches, which that's kind of my next project to get into some of the Y-DNA stuff. But this family, again, the Head Pearson family, they are linked to the Mills side. If you go upwards on my tree, from the Mills, you will run into the William Head Pearson family. I have multiple grandparents, that turn into the Mills side from this particular Pearson family. So we're going to find DNA matches. I'm well aware of that. At first, I was all excited because I'm getting all these different DNA matches, but it means nothing because it could literally just be pulling on all of those Mills DNA matches. And obviously, the Mills are married into the Pearsons. The main question on the William Head Pearson, as I mentioned in the video that I did tonight, it's not whether or not I'm related to him. We know that I am, which is odd, but it's whether or not they're the Pearson family that Jacob descends from, and if they are, then that basically means that Jacob is also related to my grandmother, my Mills grandmother, who married into the Pearson family. So that would be really odd if that turned out to be the case. That would basically be like all the families are intertwined together. I don't think that they are. And so, I mean, if anything, I could probably move this down to like 2.1, just because, of all the fact that they're linked to the Mills and they pull in the Stovalls and the Garretts. I mean, there's going to be DNA matches all over the place. Last but not least, the Peter Pearson family. Again, Allie's cousins and all that married into this Pearson family. Why wouldn't she? You would just think. Also, there has been a Y-DNA match that I have linked to that family. They are in my regular tree anyway. I have Catherine M. Pearson, who is a descendant of that family. She's in my tree. They're all over the place. It seems like the Pearsons almost begin with them in a way. Um, it's hard to believe that they're not mingled. I mean, if I had to bet, $1,000 and just pick a family, they're the one that I would still pick. But who knows? They're not that interesting, I don't think. Just because it just seems too obvious. Well, it's got to be this family. So. But there is some Y-DNA stuff to mention there as well, coming up. But I think that is it. Hopefully, it recorded this time.